Okay, I'm going live in 3 seconds.
2, 1.
All right. Vanessa, you're streaming it, but we're still in practice mode. So for those of you that are watching it on Facebook, hello. For everybody else, we're starting. There we go. All right.
What's up, man?
How are you, Mike?
I'm great. I'm good. Excited.
Everybody,
We're getting close.
I'm excited too. Look at this. We've got everybody jumping in now. Hello, Aubrey, Bruce, Carl, Christopher, Cliff, David Perret, Eric with an CH, Aaron Pinto, what's up? Greg, Jason, Jennifer Ross, Montreal Allen, Miles, what's up? Miles, Nikki, Rocco. Oh my gosh. Okay. 71 people and more people coming in.
Nice.
You guys can use the chat and you can use the Q&A. So there's a couple different ways that you guys can talk to us. You can use the chat, you can use the Q&A. It's going to be kind of like a webinar style. We got a bunch of speakers coming in. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we said 6, but we're actually having 8. So Ashburn,
Bonus.
Virginia. What's up, Juan from New York? Good day from Canada. I'm actually in Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania right now.
I was wondering where you were. That's not your house. I know that.
No, I'm in a hotel in York, Pennsylvania, and I'm rocking my new Flip Hacking Live 2021 shirt. How
Love
awesome
it.
is this?
Jealous.
All right, man. You ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, it looks like Luke is jumping in here.
Luke.
Luke, Vanessa's going to kick you to an attendee for now, and then we're going to promote you in a second. So, and happy birthday, man. This is crazy. We're going to talk about this in a minute. So
It's his birthday.
she's pushing him. Yeah, it's his birthday today. So we're going to
Nice.
talk to him in a second. So welcome everybody. We got like almost 100 people in here. I'm sure there's people that are going to be showing up. People are going to be taking off. We're talking about Flip Hacking Live today. So in just 5 weeks from today, what's the day? Wednesday.
God, it's coming.
5
so
weeks
close.
from today, we're going to be doing our member event. And then on Thursday, Flip Hacking Live. So a lot of you guys are going to be traveling down to Orlando, October 14th, 15th to 16th. And tonight, what we're going to be doing is I have a big announcement that I want to make. And I don't even know if Mike knows about this or some of the other people. So I've got a little surprise that I'm going to announce today for sure. And what we want to do is we want to introduce you to some of the speakers that are going to be at Flip Hacking Live. Mike, can you hear me okay? I'm in a hotel.
I can hear you. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so what I want to do is get you guys excited about this event. And if you have questions, definitely let us know in the chat. There's a Q&A feature here. You can actually, if you put questions in there, it's easy for us to see them and not have to go through all the chat. But if you guys are ready for Flip Hacking Live, say, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Give me some thumbs up in the chat. If you guys can hear me, let me know, because we're kind of like Mike and I are talking to each other. So I want
exactly.
So Tony, if you have a question, put it in the chat. You said, do you do mentoring and coaching? We do. So put some of those questions in the chat. We can answer them tonight. Game on, ready, awesome. Kelly got a book today. Michael, Matthew, we dropped a book off today in York, Pennsylvania. Somebody ordered a book yesterday and we just happened to be here. So we dropped off a book on a
You
doorstep.
hand delivered a book?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Stephen Casey Tackett they had 2 books. So I didn't have one. And I was like at their house last night. And I was like, man, we just got this order from York, Pennsylvania, and I'm flying there right now. And it was really cool. So she ordered a book yesterday and I was like, we're flying there. And dude, listen to this, Mike. Her house was 2 blocks down from where Darren Smith, we're doing some videos and training and stuff with Darren for Flip Hacking Live.
Yeah.
He wholesaled a house 2 blocks away. So we went to this house to film it and stuff like that. And she lived 2 blocks away. We just drove 2 blocks down and dropped the book off. So
that's
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Kind of felt like Santa Claus. It was really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Ed McMahon. That's an old reference, but the Publishers Clearinghouse showing up with the big check.
Yeah. Or like a free plus shipping book that we could save shipping on. But
exactly.
Kelly, you will get that book, which is the pre-edition signed by me, and you will get the regular book too, the one that I fixed all 50 errors.
I was gonna say this is the error book. It's good though to be like a limited edition, like a collector's edition.
Yeah, right? It's pretty cool. So it was fun. I got to meet Kelly and just pop in, and we happen to have some cameras and stuff like that. So it was it did look like
not too intimidating.
Yeah, it was.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And
All right,
Kelly, don't
Lorenzo
worry.
Martinez, his birthday is October 14th. Good way to
Oh,
celebrate.
nice. Yeah, we've got a speaker, Ben Morgan. His birthday is a couple days before too. So it's, and then James, my son James's birthday is right after. So we'll be celebrating your birthday there. It's gonna be awesome. Tony said can't
Nice.
attend Flip Bang Live. Got to take care of some elderly family and can't travel. I get that. So we'll help with some of the mentoring and coaching and conversation and stuff like that. So Joe said that's something Bill would do. Yeah, it was fun. I don't know. I just happened to, I'm glad I checked my email and I saw York, Pennsylvania. And I was like, I've never even spent any time in this city. And it just happens I was going there. It was meant to be, right?
That's awesome.
All right. So Mike, let's bring the first speaker on at Flip Hacking Live. So Mike and I will be kind of moderating this. We've done this Flip Hacking Live for like 6 years, and we've done this call every year, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, in some version or another, we've done this call every year. But it's fun. This is great. It's always hearing what people are going to talk about. And I don't really know all of the topics that'll be spoken about. So this is going to be really fun for me too, to find out everything that's going to be talked about.
All right. So we'll bring our first two people on. So Terry, if you can hop on, and we got Vaughn. So we'll bring on kind of our first two speakers. And I want Terry to share a little bit about, I guess in the comments, let me know, kind of like raise your hand or say, I want to know, like, if you want to know what the Oracle of real estate is thinking about where the market's going to go and stuff like that. Like, do you want to know, do you want to look into the future and get the crystal ball about where the market's going to go? And if you do, say, I want to know that. I want to know that.
Terry's the guy.
That's
And
you,
if you guys
Vaughn.
can let us know, then I'm going to introduce you to the man who's going to tell us here in a second. So Terry, you have given some presentations about the state of the market, where we're going. And for those who don't know, Flip Hacking Live, the presentations are going to be focused around what's working now and what's working next. So I'm really challenging a lot of the speakers to say, can you guys look in the future and tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your business and how you're handling that. So Terry, what are you going to be talking about at Flip Hacking Live?
Oh man, I have spent the last 6 months poring over research and looking at stuff about the housing market, reading as much as I can. And I'm excited to kind of, lift the lid off the pot of soup that's the real estate market right now. You got all the crazy influencers out there putting stuff out there about a housing market crash and all this crazy stuff. I'm going to bring the goods, Bill. I'm going to bring what's real, what's happening now, and where I think there might be opportunity in the future based on what is happening right now.
So you're saying when I go into YouTube and just type in real estate, all the stuff that I see, all these crazy videos, they're not all telling me the truth. Is that what you're saying?
No, believe it or not, there's a lot of clickbait on YouTube. I don't know if you know that or not, Mike, but
I hope I'm not contributing to that. I know just to go to my buddy Terry if I want to know what's really happening. So shame on me if I click on any of those things.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube watching some of these guys and they're talking about a housing crash, you need to approach that stuff with caution.
Absolutely.
Terry, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background and real quick, like why they should listen to you? Like how long have you been in real estate and what have you done in the past?
Yeah, so I'm a data nerd first and foremost. I love research. I love kind of studying trends. My claim to fame is I probably had, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 moms in my car. That sounds kind of weird to say, I realize. However, I was a real estate agent for about 15 years. And I listened to the consumer. So these soccer moms are in my vehicle. I'm showing them houses. I'm literally absorbing everything they have to say. And after walking over 15,000 houses with them and selling 1,000 or so as a retail real estate agent, and then another few hundred as an investor, I feel like my superpower is understanding what the consumer is looking for out there in real estate, which trickles down to the investor world, right? The consumer world drives the investor world if you're talking about single family houses. And that is one of the things I feel like I bring to the table. I feel like I bring a really pragmatic, realistic approach without a lot of hype. Just back it up with facts, man. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. And so you're going to prepare this presentation like right up to the event, right? So, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to tell you what that looks like? It means everybody's presentation is done, right? So Vaughn, he's gonna have it phoned in, ready to go, and I'm gonna be up till 2:00 in the morning the night before my presentation, making sure everybody has the best last minute data. And you guys saw it, right? Like when in Park City, like I can't go to dinner, I can't go have fun. I got to finish this presentation. A few new articles came out I have to read before tomorrow. I want to bring everybody the latest stuff.
So, I think this is probably one of the most incredible presentations that we can have. And probably the most important things is getting real-time information from somebody who's actually doing it, who just pours over this stuff, like right up to the minute, right? And Terry, you're not gonna be the only one. I usually am putting the final touches on all of my stuff all the way through the 3 days.
Wow, we're really giving him a real behind the scenes look here at you, Bill.
Well, I think it's important to know that because based on the response and the feedback from the audience and how things are going and how the event develops determines really what I think you guys need. And so the audience actually dictates a lot of my presentation. So depending on who shows up and who's in the audience and who's attending the event, that can totally change the dynamic of the event specifically and what you guys need. So like you guys are going to hear, there's going to be some audience participation in the beginning. I'm going to watch other presentations. And as my different presentations develop, I'm going to determine what I think you guys need. Same with some of the other things that we're doing, some of the announcements that I have tonight, some of the things that I've been holding back, that I'm going to share some surprises and reasons for a lot of that stuff of why we're doing what we're doing. So,
but if I think this is what sets this event apart from every other event is the fact that we're bringing what the people that show up need at that event. And like, it's going to happen in real time. It's not canned speeches that are out there where, we're one trick ponies. No way, man. Everybody's coming and bringing the heat and their fastball to this event because it is the flagship event in the house flipping industry, in my opinion.
Well, that's a good point, Terry. Some of us have spoken, and you're no exception to this. You've spoken a lot at Flip Hacking Live, but we never deliver the same thing. It's always like, what is needed right now? What do people need to hear? What's happening in the world right now? And what I really love, if I can just say about what you're going to present specifically, is a question that I think we get a lot as people who mentor and do a lot of stuff that we've been doing over the last several years is, what's going on with the market? Should I be investing now? Should I start my business? Should I grow my business? Like the market. And I always tell people, I know people like Andy McFarland, right? He's been in this game for a long time. He's been doing it a long time. Don't shy away because of the market, but understand the market, understand where you are in the market so that you can react appropriately. So you can adjust your approach to fit what's happening right now. And that's why your presentation, I think, is so critical for people, because it's not that you should shy away or get out. It's change your approach so that you're doing what's effective and works right now with the current market conditions.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's really important. Like a lot of people say, money can be made in any market, right? And knowing where you are can determine the position that you need to take going forward. And so I think Terry's going to make some bold predictions for the future, right? Of what he thinks is going to happen and what could potentially happen. And then the other cool thing that I shared on the podcast recently, if you don't listen to the 7-Figure Flipping podcast, please go back, especially leading up to Flip Hacking Live. We have introduced about 5 speakers so far, with number 6 and 7 coming up. And most of these folks are not on the on this hangout tonight because I had them on the podcast. And so what I've done is I've really talked to my friend Ryan Smith, who does a lot of marketing for other real estate investors. And I said, well, what I want you to do is I want you to listen to Terry's presentation. I want you to work with Terry and figure out, if this stuff does happen, how would you target those people in the future? So not only are you going to get Terry's presentation on where we are in the market right now and what he thinks, and a lot of other people would probably agree with what could potentially happen. And then if that happens, we're also going to show you how you would target and market to those people. Yeah. So that I think that combo of presentations is probably the 1-2 punch that is potentially the most powerful thing in that room. And I'm sure some of the other speakers are going to look at me and say, no, my presentation is just as good. The cool thing about this, when we do these things, is I really push every speaker to come on and say, this is why you should be at my presentation, because it's the most valuable thing that you could possibly to get when you fly down to Orlando and come to this event. So let's see, Terry, if you guys have questions for Terry, drop it in the Q&A before we kind of let him go and move on to the next speaker. But I've got one for you here from Robert. And he said, hey, Terry, what are some good sources of real estate information that you use?
Believe it or not, I like looking at the Redfin data. I think they have a pretty good economist over there. Lawrence Yun, he's the economist for the National Association of Realtors. He's good. He's an optimist, but I like the Redfin data stuff. There's some other reports and stuff I'll bring, and I'll give you guys. access to at Flip Hacking Live, but I do pull quite a bit from Redfin. I like their economist.
And you're going to show data and you're going to walk people through it and you're going to show them how you got to where you got and then what you think is going to happen going forward.
Yeah. And if they want to go read 1,000 pages afterwards, they'll have links to everything.
Yeah,
Awesome.
my prediction
And-
is Terry's going to have one of the most highest frequency of cameras going up, phones taking pictures of the screen. That's my prediction. That's what happens when Terry gives presentations.
And now I'm getting freaked out, and I gotta go, guys. I gotta go prepare right now.
And Robert said, Andy's the first guy who introduced me to real estate. So that's cool.
Nice. Love
I
it.
asked the question, Robert Gooden.
Heck yeah.
So, we talked a little bit about how this event is really like real-time information and things like that. And Terry mentioned why it stands apart from others. And I think the difference is we don't really, it's like he said, it's not just canned presentations, one-trick ponies. We really don't create this event to like bundle and market and resell in the future. It's not something that becomes like a product for us. It really is something that we download to all the people that attend and show up, get that information, because we know we're basically running an entire high-level mastermind meeting for 3 days, giving you the entire system exactly how to do it so that then you can go do it. Now, I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying, why would you do that? It's competition and all these things, but there's, 500-600 people in that room. There's not 10,000 people in that room that are all vying against the same market. And so it's a great way to present that information to you guys, take it, run with it. And you're all going to go back to your sections of the world and figure out how to go implement those things. And it's not like every single person, it's an Orlando conference where everybody's from Orlando, right? So the whole concept for us is to come there, take all the information that we can give you, take it and go run with it. And we'll also show you and help you how to implement it. And you'll see some of the people that will present, here in the next few minutes, they'll talk about implementation of a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
And I think what's cool though, I mean, Von Bethel, he and I are good buddies. We're in the same small market, and we're great friends. I mean, every time I go up there, I mean, that's a virtual market for me. I want to meet with my friend Vaughn and see how he's doing. And that's what's cool, right? Yeah, we're not from all in the same place, but some of the speakers are from the same spot. And he's going to hear everything I have to say. I'm going to hear everything he has to say, and I'm good with it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Because Terry's not going to implement Vaughn's amazing system. So let's transition to that.
There you go.
Terry, thank you for coming.
guys.
Thanks for all that you do for the community, man. Hang out with us as long as you want, but it's great to see you. So Vaughn, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and who you are? I know you came on the 7-Figure Flipping podcast just like a couple months ago, and just tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Vaughn Bethel. I'm in the Greenville, South Carolina market. Primarily play in the upstate South Carolina market, but venturing out into Central Florida and the Midlands of South Carolina. Actually been in real estate for right at 3 years. So August 28th was 3 years ago that I started this company. So we've had a lot of success in the last 3 years, particularly in the last 12 to 18 months. We have a very unique system that we use to generate leads, and that's what I'm excited to share with everybody at Flip Hacking Live.
Awesome. I'm excited about too, because every time you share this at our mastermind meetings, people just go crazy for it. They're like, you got to be kidding me. You're doing this kind of volume with just this system. So to give everybody an idea, the structure of this event is really set up for like a lot of marketing and lead generation up front. And then once those leads come in, what do we do with them on kind of the second day? So a lot of the structure going forward is going to be more of implementation, lead management, sales, business development, hiring, those kind of things. And then day 3 is a little bit more of what do we do after that? So how do we get the best net profit? How do we look at our numbers? How do we dispose of a lot of these properties? Those kind of things. And so this first day is going to be jam-packed, because I know if the number one thing that you guys want is more leads, more deals, and how are people marketing for deals. So Vaughn, what specifically are you going to be talking about? Like if you can give, obviously you don't have to give away the entire farm, but why should people come listen to you, and what are you going to present, and talk a little bit about your system?
Well, I'm gonna give away the entire farm at Flip Hacking Live, so they have to come just for that. You're gonna have a complete system that you can walk away with and implement, as soon as you get back home. But really what I'm talking about is what has allowed us to generate 85% of our deals over the last 3 years, and that's driving for dollars. And it's such a low cost lead generation tool and just platform that, right now, I think our average cost per lead is under $30. I think it's right at $28 and some change. And then our average cost per deal is under $1,000.
Wow.
And it all comes from, just getting out and driving and finding distressed properties. I don't do any driving myself. I hadn't, driven for dollars in 2 years, but I've developed a solid team that adds 500 to 600 properties to our database every single week. So 2,000 plus properties coming in that we know are hot leads. They have a physical sign of distress, and the software that we use makes it extremely easy. The guys that are driving for me are making really good money. They have bonuses and incentives and incorporated in that as well. And we're closing on average 8 to 10 deals a month from driving for dollars. So,
how many times I've heard people in the last year say, I can't get deals. I can't afford the marketing required to find a deal in my market. I have to spend more money. I don't have it. Like, I've heard that excuse 1,000 times. Like, this is the biggest excuse ender I've heard. A $30 cost of basically acquiring a deal, or $30 is what the marketing costs, right?
Yep.
That blows my mind, because I think a lot of people are spending thousands of dollars per lead, right? In their marketing, if they're doing direct mail or PPC or whatever it is, like, it's just so much higher than that. And it becomes difficult for people to ramp that up. So it's amazing, dude. 30.
Mike, are you going to have a notebook and a pen?
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, that's the beauty too, right? Like, I'm running a business. Like, I want to know what he's telling everyone, because I want to implement that in my company when I go back home. So I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, it's so simple. Once, I lay out the system at Flip Packing Live, people are going to be looking at me, and the light bulbs are just going to be going off. Like, why haven't I been doing this all this time? Everybody thinks driving for dollars takes a ton of time. They'd rather sit and just wait for things to come to them. I've always been a proactive person in sales and anything that I do. So going out and finding deals. And then, when I find those deals, specifically through driving for dollars, it's reaching out to them, right?
Yeah.
So not just sending postcards to everybody, but, cold calling, text blasting, getting them on the phone. I don't like sitting just waiting for the phone to ring.
So are you going to go into some of that stuff too?
Oh, absolutely. Our whole system, not just adding the properties to our system, but what happens after we add it to our system.
So when people leave, they should be able to take what you're presenting and implement it. There's no gaps. There's no things that are just big chunks that you're not going to give them. All right.
No gaps. I mean,
good. I want to know selfishly, because I'm going to be taking notes. And if there's a gap, Vaughn, I'm calling you directly and finding out what it is.
Hey, call me out, man. I don't want any gaps. I want everybody to be able to leave there. And if they want to implement driving for dollars, they have a complete system from A to Z on how to go out there, use the same system that we're using, use the same processes, and then get out there and kill it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was building out this plan, I really wanted to look for a lot of the feedback I get is, okay, yeah, I understand what all these people are doing, and they're doing a lot of business, but they're spending a lot of money on marketing.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to find some presenters and some ways to show you, like Ryan Smith in previous years has talked a lot about the niche marketing and some areas where you can spend a lot of time. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And I think this is interesting because once you get this built out, in talking to Vaughn, you kind of don't really need to spend a ton of time because other people are out driving for him, and he's not spending a ton of money either. So, they're putting these things in the database, in the system, in his process, and out comes, a potential opportunity, right? So I think it's really a good benefit for a lot of you who are struggling in and saying, oh, I'm driving around and I'm writing all these names and addresses down, but I just really don't know what to do next. Well, he's got a way where, 8 to 10 deals a month is like, this is probably, that's incredible. That's more deals than people are doing in multiple marketing channels in their one city, right?
Yep.
So to be able to, and this is what I talk about a lot, is like, if you can just identify the area that you're really good at and that you really enjoy doing, and you can focus and really dive deep in that and really own that space, then you can go really deep in one marketing channel before you ever really even need to bring on another one. And some people just would rather do 5 or 6 different things and just scratch the surface. And that's why a lot of people struggle, I think.
Well, I know to get to 8 to 10 deals, there's a lot of people that I know, and Bill too, and you've on, that are spending tens of thousands of dollars to get 8 to 10 deals. Like, that's not an exaggeration. So that's amazing.
And one thing I do want to point out and make sure that it doesn't get lost is, even though our cost per deal and our cost per lead is very low, that doesn't mean our deal size is low. Right now we're averaging about $22,000 per assignment. And I've been able to pick up 8 rental properties and 9 notes this year off of driving for dollars. And we're at about a 52% profit margin. And Bill, I'm coming for that 7-figure club. It'll be, with what I have on the books right now, set to close this month.
You better fill out your application because we're making them. We're making them now. So get in there.
That's awesome. That is
Better go to that website and get that award. I want to hand it to you. I want to shake your hand. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
So guys, if you don't know what Vaughn's talking about, we have an award for our members that when they hit 7 figures in a year, so over $1 million in gross profit in a year, they get to win an award called the 7-Figure Club. And you guys will see those awards being handed out at Flip Hacking Live. So we want to recognize those folks. It's a little bit of a competition. It's definitely some bragging rights. You'll put, like Mike's got in the background, you'll put some awards up in your office and things like that. And I really think it's a lot of fun. And you'll see, we have a couple different ones. Mike's got 2 of them there displayed in the background of his, and you guys will see that. We really want to take care of our folks, have a little fun competition, but also, reward them and maybe able to shake their hand, take some pictures, and just celebrate their wins, because it's a lot of hard work to get there, right? It's not easy. Vaughn's putting in the time. It doesn't just happen, right? You're not going to watch Vaughn's presentation, go home and magically be doing 8 deals. You're going to put in a little bit of work to build that, right? And I'm proud of every single person that's going to step on stage, and every single person that's in our world, and all of you guys that show up for taking that action and making the decision to invest in yourself. So if you don't already know, you can go to fliphackinglive.com right now and grab your tickets. October 14th, 15th, and 16th, just to kind of reset things. We're talking about Flip Hacking Live. We're talking about the event that we have in Orlando in just 5 weeks time. And the other thing that I talked about on the podcast with a lot of these folks is we have some bonuses that we're giving away. I've talked about previous recordings, how we don't just kind of like bundle them for sale. That's not the goal of this, to put on this event and then sell it the week after. But what we did was we took all the relevant presentations from the last 5 years, and I put them in a membership site. So anybody that buys a ticket and goes to fliphackinglive.com gets that. And then we got some other speakers that added some things in. Ryan Smith added a video training that he did, which is absolutely amazing, by the way, that only one person had seen before. He made it for a client, a very high-end client of his, and he gave it away to you guys. Val gave away some of her videos just recently on the call. We got David Perret, who's going to come join us here in a little bit. He gave away a PDF copy of his book. Becca Shea gave away a bunch of job ads for a lead intake manager, sales manager, and a project manager. So the same ads that we share in the 7-Figure Flipping community at our mastermind group. Let's see, who else did we have? I'm missing 1 or 2. Just all these bonuses for you if you just go grab it. Andy McFarland's. Yeah, Andy's 4-hour seller I knew I was missing something really big. The seller financing training that Andy did, which he charged like over $10,000 for the investors in Utah to come to a few years ago. It's absolutely amazing, worth its weight in gold. Has trained almost all of us on seller financing and given us another tool. So you can go to fliphackinglive.com, grab your ticket. We'd love to see you in Orlando. If you guys have questions about the event, for any of the speakers, put it in the Q&A section, and I'll make sure that we get it answered for you before the end of this call tonight. So Vaughn, anything that any save rounds, anything that is left? So last words to get them to come to Flip Hacking Live and see your presentation about driving for dollars and why it will be the best.
Well, one, if you come to Flip Hacking Live, I'm gonna give you a complete system from A to Z that if you go home and implement, is going to add at least $100,000 to your bottom line.
Oh, that's pretty good. Let's see if somebody can one up them at 150. All right.
150. Changed it.
$1 million. Make it $1 million. Vaughn, man, I'm really excited to see you. I can't wait to see the presentation. It's going to be really awesome. So and look, guys, I think we can all agree on this call that like just that one presentation right now, tickets are $497. Like just that one call, not including all the other bonuses and things that we shared, like that one presentation is worth way more than that. Yeah. Like if it can change your entire business, and you really only need that one marketing channel or that one idea or that one thing to get you to the next step. And that's what this event is all about. Like my goal is to make sure that every single presentation that you come up to me at the first break, after we have 1 or 2 presentations, say, Bill, It's already been paid for. Like this
Yep.
entire trip is paid for after this first presentation, and I have 19 more to go. Thank you. And that's it.
Yeah.
And at the end, I tell everybody every year, like at the end of the 3 days, if you're like, this was a bust, you attend, you take notes, you participate, you're there, you're present, and you're like, this was not worth $497. You just come up to me and let me know. Like I got an open office door all the time to have those conversations. And it hasn't happened yet. And I don't think it will. We spend 7 months working on this. And I tell people, I will write you a check for my personal bank account, not the business bank account. I will personally write you a check back. So that's my personal guarantee, not the 7-figure flipping guarantee, and then I'll go to Mike Simmons and say, hey man, your presentation kind of stunk. You owe me $500.
You owe me $497. Dude, I've made the same guarantee. I've done that too. I've gone totally rogue and said, if I'm going to be there and if you don't think it was worth the money that you spent, you come and find me and I'll pay you back. Cause it's so people go there thinking they're going to get sprinkled on, and it's a monsoon of information. Like, it's so far beyond what anybody could reasonably expect from any kind of thing like this, that if you're there, you participate, you take notes and you're present and you say it's not worth it. I mean, you have a closed head injury. Something's wrong with you, because it is more than worth it.
So talk about good timing. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I just got a notification saying one of my drivers added 107 properties today.
107 properties today.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, you better get to work, man. You got some deals to do. What's up from those 107?
Yep.
Give me an idea of how many of those are like, could potentially be deals. Like, what do you see? Are you expecting a couple from that?
Out of those that could potentially be deals, I would probably say 10% are good, solid deals. They all have physical sign of distress, or they won't meet our criteria. They'll get unqualified. So that's one of the biggest things that our guys have to look at, is when they're driving around, they have to add a picture and it has to have a physical sign of distress. So it probably needs to be sold, but the actual people that want to sell it and can sell it, and that we get in touch with, is probably about 10%. So then it's just a matter of nurturing those leads. And I think right now we have over 40,000 properties in our Driving for Dollars system.
Juan just said, wow, sold.
Yeah, I see that.
He's in, man. Just off of that, I'm telling you what, everyone knows what Driving for Dollars is. No one has a system. No one tells you how to systematize it. That's why I think this is going to be awesome. I'm super psyched.
I remember, Mike, when you came up with that like bandit sign system, and right in the beginning of 7-figure flipping, we all joined the mastermind group. And I remember seeing that and going like, this is genius. Like I didn't even, I mean, I heard systems and I thought I was going to show up and somebody's going to hand me like a binder of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
At that first meeting. And you guys had this, like, no joke, laid out software, the entire process laid out, documented and stuff like that, and basically handed it to us. And I was like, this is what it's all about. And that's exactly what every presentation is, a system designed for that. So Vaughn, thank you, man. Have a great night. I had so much fun talking with you, and I cannot wait to see your presentation. Vanessa, and you guys are more than welcome to say thank you. I'm excited for Vaughn, all this. Robert said, I remember that bandit sign system. I went to Flip Hacking Live probably 6 years ago. It was definitely a monsoon of information. Robert, I hope you're coming back. We hope to see you again. So Vanessa, can you bring up Luke? Can you bring up Luke next? I know I'm going out of order a little bit, but I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99% sure it's his birthday. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to get his presentation. I'd like to get you guys excited about hearing from him, and then cut him loose so he can enjoy his evening on his birthday. So if you can pull up Luke next, I'm going to go out of order a little bit. And as he's coming on, Mike, that is awesome, dude. That presentation is going to be so good.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. That is going to be really awesome. I know I'm going to be helping out behind the scenes and doing some stuff. I really sincerely hope that I can sit down with the pen and paper. Or if not, I have to go back and listen to it, because I want to see that.
Yeah, I know. Luke, you're muted. So there you go. Is it your birthday tonight?
It is my birthday. Yeah.
Oh man, happy birthday. And so you didn't tell us that it was your birthday, so I cannot feel bad for inviting you to this call. But man, like, did you like finish your dinner early and you're showing up here on your birthday? Like, that's
we had dinner a little bit. Just moved the dinner a little bit earlier. We went to a nice restaurant downtown and got back in time. So I was just in time to put the baby down before this started. So.
Yeah. Oh man. birthday dinner, put the baby down, jump on the call and share the goods. So everybody in the chat, if you can't see, is saying happy birthday,
Yeah.
happy birthday, happy birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are if they don't know, and they probably don't, because you're probably like the most undercover wholesaler that does the most in
I know.
North America, I should say.
Yeah.
So
I'm just far away from you guys. So my wife and I run the business together, though she's Jessica and she's more involved on the rental side. We have a little 14-month-old who keeps us really busy. And we run Canada's largest wholesaling business. So we're in kind of across Canada. We're in Ontario, in Toronto and Ottawa, in Montreal and Quebec, and we're in Vancouver in British Columbia, which was just this year we moved there. We are on track to do between 200 and 250 houses this year, and somewhere hopefully north of $8 million in deal profits.
No
can
big
you say
deal.
that one more time? 8 million?
We're on track to do somewhere north of 8 million in deal profits for this year.
All right. So Vaughn wanted to win the $1 million award. Luke wants to win the $8 million award. So do you remember, do you remember the conversation that we had at the first Flip Hacking Live that you went to? Like one of your goals was, I don't know. I kind of want to tell the story myself, but I want to hear from you.
Well, if this is the story I'm thinking about, is we had the great Walter Bond speak, and Walter Bond had this part where he would go to his coach and he would say, what do I have to do to play? What do I have to do to get off the bench? And his coach would tell him what to do and he would do it and he would play. And that's how he got to the NBA. That's how one of the reasons he was great. And so at the end of Flip Hacking Live, I decided I would join this mastermind group because it wasn't some big guru sales pitch at the event. And I knew I needed it to grow. I came up to Bill at the end of the event and I said, hey, coach, what do I have to do to be on this stage? What do I have to do? And so, I mean, here I am now. I mean, the next year I was on the stage accepting the 7-figure award. And now I'm going to be on stage for the first time presenting about part of our system.
Yeah, I remember Luke coming up to me and says, I'm going to be on that stage. I have to be, like, put me in. And then you also said, I remember it, I don't think it was there, but it was one of the calls that we had. You were like, I am going to build the biggest wholesaling company in Canada. That's my goal. I was like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? He's like, I'm going to build, not I want to, not I think I can, not I'd like to. It was, I'm going to build the biggest wholesale operation in Canada, period. And how long is that? How long did it take you to do that?
Well, I mean, I joined 3 years ago. I'm going on 3 years with the group, I think 2018. So yeah. 3 years.
Awesome.
Dude, that's so
amazing.
amazing.
I mean, when I joined the group at that time, when I came to Flip Hacking Live the first time, we were under $1 million and had 3 employees. And now we're where we are now with 35 employees. So business has exploded in 3 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be presenting on. So I'm sure that everybody that's on this call is like, I will actually just listen to anything that he says at this point, right?
A guy with that kind of explosive growth, you got to pay attention.
Well, yeah, we talked about this for a while and tried to come up with a plan. There were probably like 4 or 5 different things that, I mean, honestly, Luke could carry a 3-day event all on his own. I guarantee that. So
well, I talk a lot, so that's not hard.
So what did we decide on? What are you going to talk about?
So I think one of the things we do better than the majority of people, and I think a lot of people will get value, is we have an amazing disposition system. So for all the wholesalers out there, and I'm going to be adding in some parts about what can work for flippers who are buying from wholesalers, what to look for, how to make yourself valuable to them so they sell to you. But the biggest thing is, one of the ways we have been so successful and average such a high amount per contract is because we're very good at squeezing every penny we can out of contracts as well. We make as much as we can because we have an excellent dispositions process. So you have to be good at buying houses, but some new wholesalers make the mistake and they just give them away almost to their buyers at huge discounts. You want to be valuable to your buyers, but you also need to understand that, if you're making $10,000 on a deal and you can squeeze an extra $10,000 on the back end, you're doubling your average contract value. So that's what you need to focus on. Bill asked me to take our system, create it as a blueprint, create a blueprint for it so that people could copy it. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to mix in tips that we use, whether it's negotiating strategies, buyer's list building strategies that we use to maximize what you can get on the back end of these contracts.
Yeah. And, we've had some of these, we talked about this a little bit before, but you really realize the profit of every deal when you sell it, right? So it comes in and it's this like conceptual potential money, right? You're turning, I'm an engineer and sometimes I speak like that. There's potential energy and kinetic energy, right? It's potential energy when it comes in. It's worth nothing when you get it until you do something with it. And the more you have in your toolbox on the back end too. So we have to have all these creative strategies, these kind of things, right? When you have that on the back end, it's really, really important to do that and figure out how you can maximize the amount of profit. Because to get to 8 million, if you can double your profit, you can do half as many deals, right? Or if you just increase by 5 or 10%. So if you're doing deals right now, what does that look like if you increase your margins by 10, 20%? I mean, that's huge. I would always tell my dispositions folks, like, just go get me $1,000. If I start negotiating these contracts, can I get $2,000 more per contract? And when we do 200 of those a year, that's $400,000. Like that's and that all goes to the bottom line, back to the business owner, right? Because the expenses don't change to do that. So really powerful stuff. Somebody asked, I'm going to ask you this actually, Luke, because you're doing some buy and hold stuff. And I know a lot of us are. Mike, I know you have a lot of rentals and things like that. So Christina said, I follow you for a while, but I buy and hold. So there's probably some people who are like, who is this event for? And you're specifically talking about wholesalers. So real quick, I'll address that. I've also asked, I knew that Luke's probably would be directed primarily towards wholesalers. And we have wholesalers and flippers in our world. And I have a presentation lined up on the flipping side, if you're a flipper, of some creative strategies that you can use to buy houses and potentially dispose of houses where you can make money where other people can't as a flipper. He's not going to be on this call tonight, but he will be there. And I don't want to give away his exact plan because we'll probably do a podcast about it, but it is awesome. Like he's buying houses with thinner margins and be able to make money on them without putting his own money into it. And he's going to share his whole blueprint. So Luke, what about like buy and hold investors? Do you think that this will help? Did these strategies and concepts help you in buying more properties to hold?
Yeah, well, so I think there's a few different things. Buy and hold investors, like we buy and hold, my wife and I, we build a rental portfolio. That's one of the nice things about our wholesaling business is because of the volume we produce, we're actually able to kind of pick off the ones that we like the most. Yep. Some of the biggest discounts we also keep so that we can easily do full burrs, full refinances on our properties. So some of the tips that I'm going to give that will help somebody buy from wholesalers will be useful. And I also think it might open up some people's mind and possibilities like working with the wholesaler when you're trying to buy for your rental portfolio. Well, maybe you can actually partner JV with a wholesaler on properties that don't meet your criteria, but you see that you can get at a discount. So there's different ways to work this in to make a little more money. Because for example, my personal portfolio, I don't buy anything built prior than 1950, just rules I wanted to set for myself. So nothing older than 1950, but I'll wholesale those all day long. I'm not going to say no to those deals. And I think that's something you can expand what you're able to do. And again, if I'm able to help that you can buy off of wholesalers more easily, I hope I'll be able to help landlords do that as well.
Luke, I just want to say this presentation that you're going to give is very dear to me. I gave dispositions presentation years ago at Flip Hacking Live. It is probably the thing that I get on a soapbox the most about with people. So I'm super psyched to hear what you have to say, because I do think that this is an overlooked value add. It's so people hit the easy button when it comes to dispo. It's like, the worst thing you can hear is I got one guy in my market that will buy everything from me. It's like, you're so losing money, right? Because he's dictating your terms at that point. So I'm really excited about this presentation personally, because I love the dispo process. I'm fascinated with it. And I'm fascinated how many people fail to realize how much money they're leaving on the table when they don't pay attention to it.
Well, Mike, I think you're also very kind to not call me out on that, because where do you think I learned the importance of creating an excellent dispositions process? I rewatched one of your previous Flip Hacking Live videos multiple times. My COO watched it. My dispositions has watched it to drill in the importance of dispositions. And then we've created our system that's our own, mixed in with what we've learned from a bunch of different people. And I think we've tried to make it the best we can. But
Nice.
even just, it was your presentation that reinforced how important this is, how much we could be leaving on the table otherwise. And it's part of what's blown up my business.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. I'm excited about it.
So I owe you for that, Mike.
No, that's all right. I get to hear the 2.0 version. So this is going to be cool.
Yeah, it was funny because Luke and I were talking about the different ideas and concepts that he had and what they were best at and stuff like that as we were talking through the strategy of what he should present. And he was like, man, he's like, we are really, really good at dispositions, but he's like, you know, Mike Simmons's presentation, I watched it over and over and over again. We just did it. We did all the things that he told us to do. And then it produced this outcome. And then we started adding to it. And so I said, that's awesome. I said, what I'd like you to present on is show basically, like he said, the blueprint, but you know, the framework of exactly what that looks like. So you can just take that framework and put it into your business, however you want to do it, and take the things that you like, the things that you don't like. And all of these presentations, the exact thing I said, I want to see all of your frameworks for exactly how you do it. So everybody can just plug and play. Luke, before you go, we have a question. Do you find a big difference between the US and Canadian markets and strategies? And I know this was a conversation that we've had multiple times and that come up inside the group. So how would you answer that one?
I would say there's a big difference in terms of marketing for sellers in Canada versus the States. We don't have access to the same lists. Our privacy laws are different. So we market differently here for buyers. The disposition side, and that's one of the reasons I'm speaking on it, is very similar. Investors are investors. And, you know, when you send out your properties to an email list, for example, you know, you're hitting people who have the same mindset. So disposition side is very similar. Sellers are a little different. And the results of marketing channels are very different. You know, we deal with a lot less absentee owners and things like that in Canada. So definitely marketing different in Canada, but dispositions is very similar.
This might be a good time for me to announce my secret announcement that I want to make on this call. Do you guys want to hear that? If you guys can just type in yeah, I want to hear that. If you guys are ready for the announcement.
Yeah, I want to hear it. I'm not going to type it in, but I want to hear it now.
This might be a really good time to announce what we're going to do, which is a little change. Spill the beans, of course. I want to hear it. So somebody asked, hey, I just got the email about this call. I just jumped on. Is there going to be a recording? We will put the recording of this on the 7 Figure Flipping podcast. So it'll likely go out tomorrow, depending on how we can do in production for it. But it'll be this week. We'll get it out to you guys on the podcast so you can re-listen to it on the podcast.
I imagine your production team in the background is going, wait, tomorrow? Oh my God. They're working their butts off right now.
They're in the hotel room right across the hall because we're shooting video right now all around.
Somebody tell Andre this has to go live tomorrow.
Well, yeah. So we're getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the next place.
Oh my God.
But I'm expecting poor weather in the morning, so it might delay us. So it'll give them plenty of time to get it all prepped and rolling.
Perfect.
I hope they're not watching this. I hope they're sleeping. They're like charging batteries and getting everything ready. So everybody's like, stop stalling. Okay. So in the past, in the first few years, and some of you guys have said that you've been to Flip Hacking Live before, we did something that when I bought the company, we made some changes at the event at Flip Hacking Live, just because I didn't think we had the capacity, the capability. We made a couple changes to our Thursday night VIP, which in 2019, if you were there when Jocko was there and we had it in San Diego and all that stuff, there was a VIP reception on Thursday night. And I could not figure out, Mike, do you remember the first few years, what we did that first night?
Yep.
So the first night we had these roundtables, the first night of the event, right? Where we had all the different speakers where you could go up to them and just ask them questions after their presentation and stuff like that. So we had man tables. And I remember I was one of the speakers and I sat there and people after my presentation, they came up, they asked me all these questions. They could ask me very specific kind of one-on-one questions about what I was doing and what was working and not working. And I sat there for like 2.5 hours sharing information with them. In the past couple of years, we haven't done that since I own the company, and I plan to not do it again. But what I found is a lot of people want that Q&A one-on-one with that speaker. So for all of you guys that are asking questions about the difference between US and the Canadian markets, like how awesome would it be if Luke was there at a table where you could go up to him and ask your specific questions because you're from Canada, right? And you don't have to track him down or find him in the hall. Like, you know exactly where he's going to be, what table number he's going to be at, and you can be there sitting around the table or in the standing room only that he's going to have because he's the one doing $8 million, and ask him those questions and get those questions answered. So the big announcement that I have in this kind of surprise is that we are actually going to bring back the roundtables this year on the first night of Flip Hacking Live. So I think that's going to be really exciting. That we have room for somewhere around 20 roundtables and we have 20 speakers. So we're going to have them come. We're going to ask them to man a table. So Vaughn just spoke about his driving for dollars system, right? If there's something that you didn't exactly catch or you have a follow-up question, we don't have time. Like, I packed the schedule so tight, we don't have time, but you know exactly where he's going to be that first evening for like 2.5 hours, and you can ask him questions.
That's awesome.
So same with Terry Berger. How awesome would it be if you get more in-depth market analysis and questions with him? Ryan Smith is going to be at a table. I'm going to force Mike Simmons to man up at a table, and you can ask him questions. All of the different people and speakers will be there. So I think that's really exciting. I'm pumped for it. It was one of my favorite things that I just couldn't figure out how to put back into the program. So the way we were able to do it is that you guys are going to hear pretty soon when we launch the VIP package that we do every year, that the VIP members are going to be able, we're going to feed you on Thursday night like the reception we did before, but you're going to have early access. So you'll have food and be able to sit with the speakers in a much smaller group and room of people to get some time with them before the general admission folks come in and pound them with a ton of questions. So much more one-on-one time with the speakers. You can go around to the different tables. We usually have somewhere between 50 and 100 VIPs at the event, not including our members. So it's usually a pretty small group. So that's an opportunity that we'll announce here in the coming weeks. But that is a great access to those folks. So we were able to still have our VIP reception where you can decide to speak to the speakers or just mingle and network and things like that and grab some food, but you'll have access to those folks before anybody else. Everybody else will go to dinner and then they'll come back and they'll have open access for them for about an hour and a half after the VIPs, and we'll all be together again once the doors open. So that's the way that we put it together. I'm really excited about this. As you know, we have like 4 more speakers to come up and introduce, but all of those people will be right there at the VIP.
Can I just say this, Bill, real quick? You're going to do this for the first night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a pro tip for everybody listening right now. If you get your VIP access, pay attention to the emails that come to you, pay attention to the website, and know who's going to be speaking on all the days, because what's going to happen is you're going to know who you're going to see the speakers from day 1, and they're going to be at a table. Speakers from day 2 and 3 are going to be at tables too. And if you don't pay attention to who's who and what they're talking about, then you're going to kick yourself on day 2 when that person speaks and you go, I didn't ask them any questions. I should have sat down with them. So really pay attention to the emails and who's going to be there and who the speakers are so that you're prepared to make the most for that VIP open table time. That's going to be awesome, I think.
Yeah. The best way to do that is to listen to the podcast. So go back and I'm trying to keep them short, like 20, 25 minutes where I introduce all the speakers. Obviously you're here on this call and you're listening to these speakers. And then the other thing is, if you ever have a question on that first day, you can just come to the back table. We have an entire staff there and say, hey, I really want my question. I really have a ton of sales questions, or I have a ton of dispositions questions. That's where the problem is. Then they will tell you that person that you should track down.
Nice.
Like we will help you along the way. Okay. Juan said, will our brains be able to process the amount of information you'll be dumping on us to know what questions to intelligently ask on that first day? I'm not sure, Juan. Everybody's going to be in a different. You will have questions, man. There will be some things that depending on where you are in your journey, you might just not understand, or you might need a little bit of clarification. And worst case, if you don't know what questions to ask, the best part about the roundtables is you can just sit there and listen to the questions the other people are asking and just take notes. And then you know what it's just a massive networking opportunity for so many people to kind of come together and just sometimes it's. I remember on mine, there was a guy who was he would stand there and he had his notebook. He didn't ask a single question, but he was just taking notes the whole time I was talking. And then he just went over to the next table and just was taking notes and taking notes. And I know that he was getting just a ton of valuable information that might not be what he needed right now, but it's there and he's got it for the future. Right?
Yeah, there are some people who will be asking some phenomenal questions that you wouldn't have thought to ask. So just being able to be there and hear some of the things people asking, because you don't know what you don't know. So people will be asking questions that will be phenomenal that you can kind of tag along with them.
Luke, I hope you enjoy your birthday, but if Vaughn Bethel's presentation is going to add an extra $100,000 to somebody's bottom line for the year, how much is your presentation going to add?
Oof, $8 million.
8 million.
I saw earlier somebody said, "Is that Canadian dollars?" And then they said 8 million of anything is awesome.
Yeah, he's trying to throw some shade on the Canadian US dollar transaction. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, 8 million Canadians, like 6.3 US right now. So
oh, just 6.3 million.
Oh,
okay,
man.
well, that settles that. It's still amazing. Still potentially.
I mean, the whole thing about the dispositions is depends what you can buy. And one of the nice things about being good at dispositions is you can buy some tighter deals, knowing you'll be able to sell them anyways. So it does matter how much you're already doing in your deals, because if you do 10 deals a year, it's going to be hard to add $8 million. But if you do 1,000 deals a year and improve your disposition system, it's going to make millions of dollars of difference in your business for sure. So.
Yeah. And the way that we put the event together to stack all of the concepts and strategies on top of each other, like you're going to learn all of the other ways that people are finding deals, negotiating deals, and then moving the deals out the back door, and then how to build the team. I mean, do you hear Luke? He said went from 3 people to 35 people. So, I mean, that's another thing that you can absolutely talk to him at the roundtable. How did you do that? Like, what does it look like? And he's even going to talk a little bit about the growth in the opening presentation and a little bit of his story that we discussed to add in there. So, Luke, go enjoy your birthday, man. Thank you for coming up a little bit early, and I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. I'm excited to see my Canadian friends come back into the United States. So
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Tell Jess we said hi. Happy birthday, brother.
Will
yeah,
do.
happy birthday,
Take care,
my
guys.
friend. All right, let's pull up Adam, and also let's pull up David Perret, please, Vanessa. Let's pull them both up, because I know we're getting a little bit short on time, so I want to make sure that we get through everybody, and we'll pull them both up, and these two guys can probably riff off of each other, and Mike and I can watch the two military guys go at it. So, oh, Adam, it looks like a freshly painted black back wall. Oh man, welcome. David, what's up?
My backdrop's way better.
It is. It looks like a ceiling.
It's yeah. I'm
on
literally
a treadmill.
4-wheeler.
Four-wheeler. On a four-wheeler.
The house is really loud with kids right now. So
awesome. You're in the garage on your four-wheeler? Is that what you're doing?
yeah,
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. All right. Can you guys?
When I was going to buy the paint and trying to figure out what color, I was texting David to go, "Hey, do you think this works?"
it looks good.
This is David's choice.
I would say brighter shirt in the future, so you pop from the background.
Yeah, you need Alex Felice's pink shirt. All right, Adam, if you can give a background of who you are, a little bit about what you do, and then David, we'll just go to you. You guys we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, I think first I'm an active duty Marine, currently serving for the last 17 years. And I would say what's unique about my real estate investing journey is I started in 7-figure flipping and flip hacking live last October. I decided I wanted to do learn marketing and sales, and I heard people like you and Mike and others talking, and I took the leap, and wow, was it been wildly impactful on my life. I posted a picture the other day. This book has the notes from that event, and I've reviewed them 3 or 4 times and went back and re-implemented things. So
that's awesome. And then Juan said, "Thank you for your service, sir." And JD said, "Adam and David, too much awesome in one place." So they're probably both right. So David, what about you? Who are you, and what's your background?
Yeah, for 32 more days, I too am an active duty Marine. And then after 13 years, I am transitioning into the Marine Corps Reserves, assuming I actually sign the reserve packet that's been sitting on my kitchen table for a month as I debate back and forth. And yeah, I got started in real estate in 2015 and built enough of a portfolio that I decided it was time to make the leap, and I'm leaving active duty early to take it full time.
Nice. Adam, what are you going to talk about? What's the plan for you at this event? I know that we talked about marketing. We talked about some different marketing systems, lead generation and driving deals.
Yep, I think the one thing that I took away last year, immediately implemented and tweaked, was cold calling. I'm going to give the exact cold calling playbook to go from 0 to 10 deals, which is exactly what I did. And we've obviously made some refinements over time, but I'm going to give that exact playbook. Okay, so how to go from 0 to 10 deals, just strictly cold calling. So you're going to talk about the exact system, the blueprint for cold calling, what you do. People, systems, management, and information you should be getting from them, the KPIs, and then the bonus here is operating with the change in the telecommunications environment right now, with people saying cold calling is dying or texting is dying. We'll talk about how you can operate in that and how that's changed the cost of doing business.
That's huge, because that's going to be the question, right? People are going to go, well, I thought you can't do this, or, like, so that's good that you're going to address that, right? Just like Terry's presentation, timely, right? You're going to address what's happening right now in the market. So that's very cool. So again, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Vaughn. After you give your presentation, you can take that information and I can implement it in my company, and I should be able to run with it and see those 10 deals that you're talking about. There's no big gaps, nothing you're going to, because I have your number too. Like I have all your numbers. I can get the information, but I don't want people in the audience. They don't have your number, right? So you're going to give them everything. Yeah, like no kidding, step by step. This is exactly how you do it. And the beauty of it is I did it. And the only obstacle to success is yourself. And the great thing is you did it not 10 years ago. Like you just did it. Like this is current for you, right? That's right. That's awesome. Yep. So cool. Flip Hacking Live 2020 changed my life. Nice. Yep. Awesome. And yeah, and he's still doing it. Like this is exactly. This is what he's brought in, and that's one of the major lead generations that's happening right now. I look at the reports every week now, and it's outperforming. Like it's driving more traffic and leads. So it's very interesting to see, because it's not something that I've ever done before. So David, what about you? What are you going to be talking about? And why?
Yeah, so I bring the intangibles, right? So I'm going to be, what I'm providing to people is, I guess, twofold. One, how to get more done in less time, and two, how to take time, like be efficient enough that you can actually enjoy your life a little bit outside of real estate. So for those who don't know who I am, we kind of talked about that a little bit, but the piece that's really, I think, kind of beneficial for people is that over the last 2 years, I worked in a vault, basically a SCIF. So I worked in a secret clearance, one of those you badge in, cell phone stays outside the building. There's no windows, there's no doors. You go through a metal gate and can't even access Gmail from inside the building facilities. And so running any kind of business is not exactly ideal, but especially running a business where, you're having to take phone calls and make phone calls. And I mean, I negotiated a $2.3 million like hotel acquisition sitting on my phone over lunch breaks in like 20-minute increments over like 3 weeks because I just didn't have any other option. And so I had to learn real quickly how to time block my schedule, how to prioritize, how to batch things together to actually, I guess the easiest example of that is I've seen people we'll use direct mail, and they're doing it by hand, and they print a letter, stick it in an envelope, lick the envelope, put a stamp on it, address the envelope, repeat, rather than understanding that if you print 50 envelopes, stuff 50 or 50 letters, stuff 50 envelopes, stamp 50 letters, and then stamp, an address on it, you're going to do it 10 times faster, just because you're doing the system, the organization. So I talk kind of on the time management side, and then I'm going to be speaking a little bit on like advantages that your W-2 has, and ways to, rather than the excuses of not having time and money, the actual advantages it gives you to leapfrog. And then the real benefit for that is that if you master all that and out of your W-2 and you take real estate full time, like I have, your you're able to come home and enjoy nights and weekends with your family because you understand how to shut it off and your business will keep moving.
Yeah, I think people go from 8-hour-a-day jobs and then they transition to full-time, whatever, real estate business, and they have a 12-hour-a-day job. And they go, well, hey, what happened here? I thought I was going to be able to be my own boss. And you are, but you end up working more. So I think it's super relevant. And to be totally honest, this is something I still struggle with from time to time. I as entrepreneurs, we want to say yes to everything. We want to grow. We want to just keep doing things. And it's hard to know how to have that efficiency so that you can have, because I think one of the things that kills businesses is they don't have that balance. They don't know how to do it in a way that still gives them a life and lets them spend time with their family. And then ultimately it sort of rots from the inside because you're not really fulfilling the other part of what you need, which is a balanced life. So it's huge.
Yeah. Burnout's real for sure. Been
For
there.
sure. Yep.
Yeah. You mentioned the intangible, and I think, so this call is amazing because you guys get to see, like, it's the cold calling system. It's the driving for dollars system. It's the market strategies. It's the niche lists. It's the disposition strategies, all those things. Right. And sometimes that story about like my journey or building a business or a team or something like that, it gets kind of lost. But those intangibles, honestly, are some of the best pieces and the best things that come from this. It's the belief. Like once you change your beliefs and you change your mindset and you change what's possible, then you have the capacity internally to implement and execute all of these strategies that we're teaching.
Yep.
But without that piece, those things become less valuable. So they're still valuable, but you have to be able to open yourself up to those intangibles and shift the belief. And to me, when people ask me what Flip Hacking Live is, I say it's that. It was the belief switch. It was the fact that I saw other people. I met David. I met people. You'll come meet these folks and you'll say, you know what? That's why I wanted to bring the roundtables back. The roundtables give you even more like humanity and individual time with these folks to say, if they can do it, I can do it. And they're not on stage. They're at my level. They're down at the table. We're talking. Just a normal person. And that's the belief switch that changes. And those intangibles, like David, that presentation for that person who's in a W-2, for that person who feels stuck with their time, for that person that doesn't feel like all the other stuff that they've seen at the event. It's like, wow, that's what they need. And you don't realize it until you get it a lot of times. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't have time for this, or all these strategies are great. I tried that. I work full time. I can't, I won't, all those things. It's like, leave the excuses at home, come see it in person, be there with us, experience it, and shift your beliefs. And that's what a lot of these presentations are going to do for you.
Definitely.
All right, David, why should they come pay attention to your presentation? For the mustache?
I mean, the mustache is phenomenal. Yes. I would say that is a reason for anything that involves me. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that, especially in the military, but in W-2s in general, a lot of times the mentality is, how can I do enough to get by and make the day end without getting fired? And so people get stuck in this routine of just trying to do enough to survive, but they don't ever max out their potential. So what I'm hoping to bring, what I will bring to the event is efficiency. I'm teaching you how to do the most in the least amount of time so that you can actually be effective and utilize your days instead of just feeling like you're spinning the hamster wheel.
Awesome. Adam, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it's because I'm going to show you the exact path to get there. I'm not going to make you any guarantees because you got to do the work. And that's the bottom line.
Awesome. It was pretty, let's see. Robert said, I just pitched my business partner on going to this thing. And he said, done. Are we doing a road trip across the country? So if you guys want to go, you can go to fliphackinglive.com and grab your tickets, and you'll get all the bonuses. You'll get all that stuff. If you get the tickets now, you'll get all that stuff. It's still at $497. Next week, ticket prices are going to go up. They usually go up about $200 at the next, once we get to about a month out. So get them right now, $4.97. Grab your ticket. Look at your calendar, October 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's in Orlando. And then Vanessa posted, if you're a ticket holder already, make sure you join our Facebook group. We just launched it. So we have a private Facebook group for the ticket holders for 2021. We'll be doing some cool stuff inside of there. Make sure that you join. I just saw it. There was like 60 people in there already, and I had to ask for access to join. So I hope they approve me soon because I want to get into. I just saw it right before this call. So Scott said, stoked to check out your presentation, Adam. Knowing how far you've come from last year, you're killing it. And then Chad said, no doubt that's a first-class stash. So, all right, guys. Adam, David, thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks,
excited
guys.
to see you guys in about 5 weeks. And all right, thanks guys for sharing your time with us tonight. We just got a couple more speakers. We're going to bring them on, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So let's see. The next one that I've got is, it's Chad himself. So Vanessa, if you can bring Chad up, and I don't know if Tyler's on, let's bring Tyler up too. I don't know if he's on.
Robert's asking, when does the price go up for the tickets? I don't remember what you said, but just go get them right now. Like they're going up soon, right? Next week, you said, or something?
Yeah. Don't wait. Sometime next week, they'll go up next week, about 4 weeks out. Good guys. Just so you know that for us, what we want to do is I'm doing this right now to try to show you the value here, right? And so as time goes on, you get penalized for not making a decision. So the next ticket, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll let the cat out of the bag. The next ticket price is $697, and the one after that is $997. So people every year wait till the last minute and pay $1,000 to come to this. So they start at $290 and they go to $997 over time. So I have to pre-buy everything for this event. I pre-buy the food, I pre-buy the paperwork, I pre-buy all the giveaways and goodies that we do, the size of the room. We have to come up with the plan of how to sit you guys. So we've made a team decision right now to reduce the capacity of this room so that we can have some distancing between people, and we can make it comfortable for everyone. So we're not going to sell this thing over 1,000 people. We have moved it back to have a huge room to be able to give you guys plenty of space so everyone is comfortable, us included, and make sure that we make every way possible to make people feel comfortable being there and take all those kind of precautions. So because of that, we increase the ticket price over time. So $497 right now. Go get your ticket. Do not wait. Sometime next week, the ticket price is going to go up.
We're all entrepreneurs. Let's be honest. We're all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You will forget if you don't do it right now. You will forget until you have to pay more, because I would too, right? We're entrepreneurs. There's so many things bouncing around our heads. Just go do it and get it off your plate and move on.
Yeah. Right now you can just open up another browser, go to flippackinglive.com, grab a ticket, grab a couple tickets. If you guys have any questions, there's an email address on there. You can email the team. You can chat to us right now and ask questions. Chad and Tyler, both sitting in Utah right now. I think you guys both Utah. Yes. Okay, cool.
What's up, guys?
So let's start with Chad. So Chad, if you could just talk a little bit about who you are and what you do, that would be helpful. And then we'll get into what you're going to talk about at Flip Hacking Live.
Cool. So my name's Chad, and I'm an investor in Utah, and I'll share more of my story at Flip Hacking Live, but right now I'm running acquisitions for a $5 million investment company. So not quite 8, but if we're talking US dollars, we're knocking on the door. So we got some work to do before we can get on Luke's level, but wow, that's impressive. So yeah.
Chad's story is really amazing. And if you guys haven't, I highly recommend you go back and listen to a podcast we did in probably January, like late January 2020. It was right before the cruise, wasn't it? In February.
Yeah.
I remember listening to it on the cruise when we were in the gym together. And it's just an amazing story. You guys will hear more about that at the event. But if you want to hear a little bit more about Chad and his story, go back and listen to that podcast, late January 2020. And his name's Chad Lundell, if you're listening to the podcast now, or if you're on the call on audio. Chad, what are you going to be talking about specifically at the event? And why should people care?
Well, I'm going to be talking about closing deals, acquisitions. I'm going to talk about kind of my step-by-step process on how to handle a lead from the time that it comes in through intake. And you guys should listen because, I mean, if you come to Flip Hacking Live, you're going to get all this information. A lot of the marketing that we do that will be taught at Flip Hacking Live, it's like systematizable, right? Like you can just look at the data and go, okay, if I do this much, then I'll probably accomplish this much. And I'm talking like converting leads, right? Sending out this many marketing pieces to get this many leads. But if you don't know what to do with those leads when you get them, it's not going to do you any good. So I'm going to be talking acquisitions. I'm going to be talking about Mike's baby story. All these leads that are coming in are your babies.
That's right.
And
my analogy.
Yeah, just how to work a lead. I mean, how to talk with sellers. What am I saying? What's my process like? How I'm getting in the door, how I'm sticking around longer, and how I'm, out matching the competition, which here in Utah is severe. Like it's tough. I know Tyler knows this, but there's not a deal that I go on right now that's not like have like 5 to 6 other investors chasing it. So what to say, how to position yourself to get that competitive edge, to gain a little bit more trust so that you're the one that they sign with, because we're all saying the same thing to these sellers, right? We pay all the closing costs. You don't have to clean up the place. You can choose your closing date. Like we're all essentially presenting the same sales pitch to these sellers. And right now, all they have to do is Google sell my house, and they'll probably get 20 investors to choose from. So yeah, what to do, how to separate yourself from the pack and close more deals.
Well,
Awesome.
it's no secret that we're in a hyper competitive market right now, right? So like to your point, Chad, there will be competition. Not there might be, there will be competition. And so separating yourself and standing out in their brain as the person that they should trust to the sale of their house is huge. It's the difference between crashing and burning on the rocks or actually having a business that is sustainable through this. So.
Yeah, and I'll try to get it
I'm going
system.
to ask you a very serious question.
Okay.
Are you excited to get one of these t-shirts?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, I just want to.
Yeah, I am. I'm really excited to be there. So like Adam said, he was kind of a product of this event from last year, but I mean, 2 years ago was my first Flip Hacking Live, and that was, it's not that long ago. Here we are, within 2 months of Flip Hacking Live 2019, I had my first deal, and now we're coming up on 2 years, and I've done over 100 deals and close to, $3 million just in my personal deals. So, and it's, be surrounding yourself by people like Mike and Bill and Tyler and Andy and Adam and Luke and everyone else who's going to be there. Because I wasn't prepared for what I stumbled upon in San Diego 2 years ago. Like I thought it was going to be like just your average event, that I've been to a bunch, like just mindset and like hoorah and like kind of pump you up and tell you that, believe in yourself and you can do it. So I was like blown away when every speaker on the stage was like, here's what I'm doing. Here's all the data. Let me share it with you step by step by step. I mean, my phone is still probably full of all the pictures I took of the slides. It was like every slide, I'm just taking pictures. And then, within 2 months, I had my first deal.
Chad, did we have a conversation before Flip Hacking Live? Did we get on the phone together? Was that before Flip Hacking Live of like whether you should come or not?
No, that was another conversation. But we were at an event like this, so I was kind of in the background just watching, and you had said something that was the only reason that I went, because I was kind of like floundering a little bit in this business and like trying to figure it out. Like I knew I wanted to do this, and I kind of had like a general idea of what to do, but I was still pretty terrified. Like I just didn't believe that I could do it, or that I didn't have the time, or that I wasn't good enough, or whatever those limiting beliefs are. And then the thing that you said was, if you're serious at all about being a real estate investor, then you will be at this event. And if you're not, then you won't be. And I was like, oof, this is kind of a challenge, I guess. And it was an easy decision for me in 2019. It was like, 4 or 5 days in San Diego. What do you have to lose? I mean, this year we're going to Florida, you know, there's a lot to do. So yeah, that was kind of the conversation that we didn't have, but we had.
So did you just call out? So that conversation went on in your head with me and you
Straight up.
one-on-one. Was that you just calling out everybody else on this call? If you're serious about going, you'll be there.
100%. I mean, you're not there. I mean, it's so easy to come to these types of events and hear the guys putting on the event, like hype it up, but it's like, man, like you are not prepared for what you're about to receive. If you show up here, you're going to get so much information, and you just need to take a little bit of it, like what you need right then. Because for me, I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So I just like took a little bit here and a little bit there. And I mean, I was just like cold calling people on my cell phone and texting people on my cell phone, no dialer. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, let me at least just prove this, that it's going to work. And it worked.
Some would say it's a
Yeah.
monsoon of information that they're going to walk into. I'm going to trademark that at some point.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think you said it pretty well, Chad. You're here, and by the way, this call is not just to if you're not going to Flip Hacking Live and you're thinking about it and you're on the fence, to really show you the value and convince you to go. I do think that's what we're doing here, but we're also trying to get people really excited that already have tickets. Like if you're on this call and you have your tickets, like the purpose of this is to get you really pumped up for 5 weeks from now, to show you what you're about to walk into and remind you of how amazing that decision that you made, maybe when the ticket was $297 or $397 or wherever it was that you decided to buy the ticket, and get you pumped up for this event, because that's really what it's about. It's like Chad said, it's not all hype, and the people that are promoting the event are really like rah trying to get you to go. Like Chad said, if you're serious, you'll be there, you know. And if you're listening to this, you're like, man, what you don't want is 2 weeks after just going, I wish I went there, you know, I'll go next year. And I see that so many times. They're like, I'll go next year or next year, or this will start in a bit.
Somebody just wrote, Michael McCarthy, Chad just nailed it to be at this event. I have a tight budget to start my real estate business right now. I bought a ticket from the 5-day challenge because I know how important this event is to my future. I had to call in a favor to stay in Tampa to drive to the event each day. Moral of the story, get it done. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
That's a winning attitude. I mean, that attitude will cross over to any business.
Yep.
We have, I remember we have a guy in our runway program, and he came to an event. I opened an opportunity in the past where if you just pay $1,500, you could come to one of our events in person, one of our mastermind events. And he flew there, he paid, he came, he flew there, he slept in the airport basically the last day. He could only afford 1 night hotel room, if I remember the story right. Did both days, like flew in on the red eye, got there really early, came to the event, stayed 1 night in a hotel. The next night, slept in the airport, basically waiting for the flight the next morning, and flew out and basically ate like granola bars and snacks that he brought and stuff like. And he's like, I remember interviewing him. He's like, well, you fed me lunch both days, and that filled me up. I just ate a lot, and it filled me up for both days because that's all I could really afford. And like that level of commitment is really, I think, the level of commitment that when I see it, it's like, that's the person that's going to be successful. Like they're going to find a way. And you'll see that over the 3 days. Like everybody there that speaks or is successful, like there's a scrappiness to them. Like they'll find a way to be successful. Like nothing's going to stand in their way. And it's really cool to see. And Chad is a testament to that. Totally.
Yep.
I'm going to answer something. There's a question that we have in the Q&A. So I'm gonna answer that real quick because some other people probably have it. If one person has it, 10 people have it. And it's talking about the COVID numbers and restrictions are increasing in Canada. What if we sign up now, but restrictions come into effect and we can't travel? Is there any contingency for that? So for anybody that's out there that's kind of on the fence, my push to you is to grab a ticket. And what we do is we will roll your ticket to the next year. If something happens and we can't, like you can't come, something comes up, we will roll your ticket to 2022. And if you have some individual circumstances like this, potentially, I'm in Canada, I'm ready to sign up and travel. If something specifically changes, email us at events@sevenfigureflipping.com, events@sevenfigureflipping.com, and just ask us your specific question. And we will talk to you one-on-one about what that would look like. If you need something from us, if you have a specific question, maybe it's a refund policy for you specifically. The blanket refund policy is no refunds, but we will always move your ticket to next year. When we went from live to virtual last year, everybody had the opportunity to move their ticket to the next year and basically attend the live event for free for our cost. And we did that for everybody that attended the virtual event. All they had to do was pay for their box. They got a ticket to the virtual event and they got to move their ticket to live in person this year. So there's never been a time, I think, that we haven't taken care of somebody with the money that they spent with our company. Like, your dollars are really important to me. Like I said in the beginning of this call, if you don't get the value and you come up to me at the end of the event, I will personally write you a check. Like, not from the business, it's going to come from William Allen's checkbook. So that's how much I believe in it. So if you ever have an issue with how we're handling it or taking care of you, then we want to know about it. We're here to take care of you guys and make sure that, but we can't just, open up, like, the blanket policy is no refunds. So get a ticket, be prepared to move it to the next year if you can't come. If you have an individual thing that you're thinking about that's holding you back, that's a concern, reach out to us and we'll just talk to you one-on-one. It's very easy. We're available. We're here for you. We want you guys to be successful. So, Chad, how much is your presentation going to add to the bottom line of everybody out there?
Well, I can only say what I've done personally. So I got two things. $3 million in profits over the last 2 years. One of those years was also working a full-time job, like half of the year at least. And then this year, we just hired 2 new sales reps last month. And between those two, they brought in 11 deals last month. So if you come to Flip Packing Live, I'm going to show you exactly what I showed them to get those 11 deals. And I know for sure that if you're just starting out in this business, 11 deals will change your life. So I can't put a dollar amount on it, but come and see us.
Awesome. Chad, I'm excited to see your presentation. Your presentation of the accelerator was awesome. It was so cool hanging out with you in Spring Hill at the farm and everything that we did together. I can't wait to see you, buddy. It's going to be awesome.
Chad's the man.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
So I got a bunch of questions. So Jennifer Ross said, if we can go to Flip Packing Live with 11 kids at home, anyone can. I love that. Lexi said, Chad's the man. He is. I got a couple questions on here that I'm unable to go. Is this event going to be online? Right now, this event is 100% in person. And I'll quickly, just 30 seconds, to do a hybrid event like that. We try to do it in January specifically for our members. And I felt like I was talking to the audience and I was trying to talk to the people that were on the camera. And I never really gave anybody my full attention, any of us. It was kind of scattered. Nobody really, I think we got a great experience, but it was just split focus. And so in like behind the curtain, I'll show you all of it. I just don't feel like we could give a great experience to our in-person folks and the virtual folks at the same time, which is why we decided to go in person only. So right now, as of today, we are 100% in person. We have a great crowd coming. Like I said, we have the ability to set the room for about 1,300 people. We are going to max out this event around 850 to make sure that we have the spacing and some comfort inside of the room. And that's kind of our plan and where we're going with it. So again, the goal here is not to just pack the room with as many people as possible. It's to get you, if you're a good fit for this event, if you listen to these speakers, you hear everybody and you're like, man, I really want to be part of this world, these 3 days, this community, that kind of thing, then we want to invite you to come, right? And so I'd much rather have 500 investors, like Chad said, that are like hardcore folks that they are serious there, than 1,000 or 1,500 people that are just checking it out, Tyler, what about you? Real quick, we're running out of time, but we have to hear what you're going to talk about at Flip Packing Live. If you guys don't know who Tyler is, he's the 7-day flip man. He's the 5-day flip man. He is a master house flipper. He is one of my best friends. He's also just an amazing human being that if you come to Flip Hacking Live, you're going to see all the cool stuff that he's doing for our community, that we're going to announce more surprises while we're there. So Tyler is awesome, and he's got a lot to share with you.
What's up, guys? Is there anybody still on this? Let me see in the chats, like who's still here? They saved the best for last, right?
That's right.
Oh, Lexi's here. Thank you, Lexi. Well,
All right, you got one. You got one in the peanut gallery. Oh, love Tyler here.
All right,
Here.
good.
Okay.
Nice. All right, 3 people are still on. That's awesome. Yeah, a couple things. Like Bill said, I get to really talk about something that we haven't done in 7-figure flipping before. And it's really important to me. It's a passion project that we've been working on. And I'm really excited to roll it out. We've kept that on the DL, and Flip Hacking Live will be that first opportunity that people will get to see it. And it's really powerful. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I'm really excited to bring that out into the world and to bring it to Flip Hacking Live. So if you're not coming, I would highly recommend just for coming for that, because it's going to be a really cool experience. But also what I'm going to be talking about is cash flow and KPIs. So it's funny, most of these guys that have been on here are products of Flip Hacking Live. And I have a picture of me 4 years ago, Flip Hacking Live, sitting in the front row, taking notes, right? I was doing 6 or 7 deals at that time, flipping houses, trying to figure it out. And at that event, I was like, I'm going to do something so big that I'm going to be forced to be up here on stage and be able to talk about it. So from that time, we did 3 7-day flips. So $40,000 rehabs in 7 days. And then since then, I've done almost 2 dozen. We're like at 24 7-day flips that I've helped facilitate. So we got really good at flipping houses, but I left all the speakers. I'm going to teach you how to get deals and drive for dollars and get your contracts and all of that stuff. But what I want to talk about is what do you do after that? Now that you've got this cash, and how do you maintain that cash flow? Cash flow is king, right? You listen to Shark Tank and Kevin O'Leary, right? He's all about cash flow and creating that cash flow in your business. So how do you create longevity for your company and really get away from that transactional, I did a flip and now what, right? So now what do I've got some money, I've got some capital, what do I do with it? And just a lot of strategies around cash flow. And I remember going to Flip Hacking Live, this extremely handsome guy talked about KPIs. Anybody remember who that was? Oh, that Mike Simmons brother, right? Yeah.
That's right. That's right,
all
baby.
about KPIs, man. And how to really track what your business is doing and get that pulse of what your company's doing and how to manage your cash. So now we've closed this deal. How do we rinse and repeat and get more deals? And then the value that I'm going to bring to people, and no one mentioned that $8 million and $3 million and all of that. I get it. The coolest part about my presentation is I get to give you time, right? And what is that time worth to you? It's probably worth more than $8 million. But I'm going to teach you how to create a business that will cash flow itself, that will create a machine that will keep feeding the machine and producing more money for you.
It's exciting.
I was literally just talking about you today, Tyler. Somebody asked me, I know it's not what you're presenting on, but you're kind of your claim to fame in this group. Somebody asked me, how long should an average flip take? And every time somebody asks me a question like that, I think, should I say 7 days? Is that what I should tell them? But I said, like, listen, 4 weeks is pretty realistic and fair. It can be done in 7. All right. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get that done. But I know a guy who does it in 7 days. So yeah, man, you're always a top.
And Luke's a good friend of mine, and he had a flip take 18 months, right? And I said, hey, that's not okay, right? How do we shorten that? And it doesn't have to be 7 days, but it doesn't have to be 18 months either.
Exactly. So. Dude, I love it, man. I love it. I love the KPI part of it and the cash flow, because all of us have seen people doing deals and having no money to show for it, right? Like they lose control of what's happening, and pretty soon they don't have the cash flow to sustain what they're trying to do. So it's huge, and people don't talk about it enough. So I'm happy that you're doing this, and you're the right guy for it, because you do a lot of deals and you know what you're talking about. And just to talk about that aspect of it is huge, because you're going to keep people out of trouble. You're going to keep people from making huge mistakes. And that's huge.
Totally. And we're flipping 26 properties right now. So active rehabs that are going on in our markets. And how do you cash flow for that? How do you grow that organically and not run out of money and still be able to market for deals and still be able to make payroll and then put money back into these rehabs, et cetera. So really just scaling and growing that business organically and doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are 6 or 7 of the speakers of the 20 that we have coming to Flip Hacking Live. So I'm pretty sure you guys get the idea. We're running out of time. Mike and I don't even have time to share what we're going to be talking about at the event. So, but I'll tell you, there's just like presentation after presentation that is going to be gold for this 3.
But like you said, Bill, if you go to the podcast to hear the people that weren't here tonight, or to hear what I'm going to talk about, like go to 7 Figure Flipping Podcast and check it out.
Yeah, because we'll share. I'm still I have like 4 interviews planned next week that will go live over the next couple of weeks as we lead up to the event. And pretty much all the podcasts leading up to the event will be just unveiling speaker after speaker after speaker. And we'll also be posting inside of our 7 Figure House Flipping and Wholesaling Facebook group, where this is streamed live in, and in our Flip Hacking Live 2021 Facebook group. So if you get your ticket, jump in that Facebook group. The conversation is going to keep going there, and all of that stuff. So Cliff asked a question here. Did I hear that if I bought a ticket for FHL 2020 in Orlando when we were live, it rolled over to this year since that event went virtual? So Cliff, email events@7figureflipping.com, and we'll take a look at your ticket and see what we've got. So last year when we went virtual, we absolutely did not just take your money and leave you with no ticket. So yes, if you bought a ticket to 2020, we emailed everybody, we called everybody, and we tried to transfer your ticket to virtual. So a lot of people paid the $99 and they rolled their ticket in person to next year, and they could attend the virtual event. But yes, if you bought a ticket to our live event in Orlando in 2020, and you paid us money for your ticket, then you have a ticket for this event. But you have to go claim it. Go claim it. And if you're not staying at the hotel, we are almost booked up. We have a room block. So we have a reservation for the room where we get discounted rooms by like $50 a night cheaper. So make sure when you buy your Flip Hacking Live ticket, you'll get information about that room block. Stay at the hotel. This hotel is a resort. There's a lazy river. There is a golf course, full-size golf course, miniature golf course. There are like 3 pools. There's a wave pool. It's basically in Champions Gate. It's a huge resort area where we're all going to be. And if you think that the Thursday night roundtable sessions are awesome, every speaker is going to be staying in the hotel, walking around the hotel, spending time there at the bar, at the restaurant, things like that. You're going to see them at the pool, and there's more times to network and talk to them and ask them questions. So it really is the who's who of this event that is there, and you really want to stay there. And we want you to stay there. It helps us too. It really does help us. If you've ever planned a wedding, you know what it's like trying to fill your room block, and it's a big part of what we do. We work really hard to negotiate you guys great rates on the hotel. You will make more money just by staying at the hotel and networking. Now, if you attend the event and go up to your room and spend all the time in your room and then go to the event, it's the same staying anywhere. But if you can just talk to some people, network, have a conversation, like you're going to bump into somebody in the elevator, who knows what's going to happen? You might be in the elevator with Walter Bond and be like, oh my gosh, like you're a professional basketball player. Let's talk about, give me a story. Like, or you might be in an elevator with Mike Simmons and be like, can you sign my book? Can you sign my arm? Can you sign my toes?
All right. Just like you've asked everyone else, Bill, how much money will they make if they stay in the hotel and network after hours and in between presentations? Let's put a number on it. $10 million, guys.
7-figure flipping does not guarantee returns on your business while attending Flip Hacking Live. My lawyer told me to say that. Hey, I had a good time tonight. We talked about a lot. We talked about the big announcement, having the roundtables on Thursday night. We talked to a lot of different speakers. You can see the link to the hotel. We talked about the amazing hotel, October 14th, 15th, and 16th in Orlando. If you're coming, then hopefully this got you really excited about coming and it fired you up. Keep listening to the podcast. Get even more pumped about all the different speakers that we have. I am so excited about this program. Every year I say it gets better and better, and every year we prove that it does. We went bigger. We're asking for your shirt size because we are giving away some really cool stuff there. So if you show up, you're going to get some cool swag. We talked about the impact that it's going to make. We talked about, we have a few things up our sleeve at Flip Hacking Live. You can go to fliphackinglive.com, grab your tickets. We really want to see you there. I'm excited about it. And we also talked about how we launched the new Facebook group for those ticket holders to jump in. So you guys have any questions, we're here to answer the questions. My team is always available to you. You can email us, you can reach out. We're really excited about this event. And honestly, like we work really, really hard the whole year to put on these 3 days for you guys. And we take it seriously, and I take it seriously. And I know all the people that came on here, they're just as excited to attend this event and speak at it as you are. And we look forward to this all year, just getting together and hanging out and seeing you. And it was a challenge not being together last year. And I'm really excited about being together this year. And we do take everything that's going on seriously, but down at the hotel in Florida, we follow the restrictions. If you guys want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you guys, feel comfortable doing certain things, we will have hand sanitizer. We will make sure, just like our mastermind events, that we're taking as many precautions as we can and following the local ordinances and guidelines. But we are taking all of that stuff seriously. And we want you guys to have a good time and be safe. So we're excited about it. I can't wait. Just traveling around here from South Carolina yesterday to Pennsylvania today to an unknown, undisclosed location tomorrow to do some more videoing and training and content creation for this event to really get you guys where you need to go for the future. I can't wait. I'm really excited. So
yeah, I'm excited too. Last year, I think we really, listen, it's self patting on the back here, but I think we did a great job with the virtual event. We had to switch, and I think it was amazing. It was phenomenal. But there's just something about live events, and I'm super excited to get back to live. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about it, and it's going to be great to do it in person and see everyone again.
Yeah, and if you've got something going on, or you have a reason why you can't make it, just know that like we will continue to put out great information for you. Our 7-figure runway program opens at Flip Hacking Live every year. There's an opportunity for you to join us, whether you're there or not. And we really want you to be a part of this. So if there's anything that we can do leading up to that, if my team, Dave, all of our member team can help you at all, figure out what your best next step is. We have our YouTube channel. We have lots of stuff that we can support you, and obviously the podcast along the way. So the purpose of this was also not to get you really upset and frustrated that you can't make it. We understand that. But if like everybody said, if you're on the fence or you're there and you're serious about this, this is the event to go to. If it's about moving schedules around and figuring things out, be a problem solver and solve the problem and come there and be with us. So go to fliphackinglive.com, grab your ticket. I can't wait to see all of you at the event. So Mike, Tyler, everybody, thank you. Have a great night. And I had fun tonight. I'll see you guys soon.
All right.
You guys in Orlando.
See you there in a month.